This is one group of hurricane pictures. These are taken from a boat as the boat approached Cherry Grove, coming over after the hurricane in September of 1938. The hotel, house on the bay, everything east of the hotel seems to be swept away. Carousel, which was in the Silver Slipper, is there, and Holly House, the original Holly House, is there, and the dock. That's all sand that you see in front. That must have been swept down from everything on the east side of the hotel, and you can see the remnants of some houses there. So the sand was all the way out to the end of the dock. Looking west from the dock along the bay shore, the debris of the houses. Houses sitting in the bay. This picture is interesting because that's the store, and you're looking at it from the back side. So you're up near where Main Walk and the ocean would have been, and of course everything in there is swept away. Over towards Doctor's Walk there seems to be a couple of houses on the bay side, but that's all flat. Picture I think comes up again later, but it's looking straight down where Surf Walk was, remnants of house posts and a well, which might have been in that earlier picture. That house on the left is Silverbell, and way down in the bay is that two-story house that I remarked on earlier, the Dutch gable house, which was next to the strange Victorian gingerbread house. So that's how we've identified that wide walk as having really been, truly been, Surf Walk. Here it is again. Here's the house in happier days. And here's where it ended up in the bay. These pictures are at the west end of the Grove, at East Walk, where the water also came through. And this house is the only house that was left on East Walk out of a whole row of houses. And it was the old Harrington hut, which lasted until the 1960s when it burned down. Jack Dowling and Wally Forstell have a house there now. But you're looking down East Walk towards the bay. And I'll show you a couple of others, what happened there. There's the house sitting in the air. He was very lucky. That person walking is walking below the level of the house, and that's at the intersection of East and Bay Walks. Looking back up towards Harrington Hut, see the remnants of houses, wood, boardwalks, decking, everything that got washed through. This was the Pinto family's first house. It was built in the 1920s, and it had been clapboard and then it was sided. But this is the house that was there in 1938, and this is the remains of it after the storm. It's down on the bay, back behind Finisterre. It went all the way around. The water went all the way around to the west side and into the bay there. Michael and Ted Pinto's father sitting in the debris, in a boat in the debris. Well, there's a little break here from the hurricane. These are odds and ends of pictures. This is Keelana Farms, taken quite some time ago. Natalia Murray's house on the right. I mean, it was Natalia Murray's house at the time this picture was taken, for sure. Picture taken in the bay. Same general area. Things have not grown up as much as they have today. This picture taken in the 40s up East Walk. You see the original splinters beyond that Ray Mann's house, and at the eve of the house you can just see the corner of boat deck. There are no houses up in the ocean, at least in this spot here. Now this is a picture of Pat's, or Club Atlantique, whichever you want to call it, which is now Rodeo Drive and Ugattawanna. But that is the way it was when it was a nightclub and then a bar for many, many years. And this picture is probably taken in the 60s. Well, this is the best I can do with this picture because it's one of the few that's long ways, but it's Frank Burns' house. There's the flagpole, small deck, the wheel, and whether this was when it was Holly Cannon's house or Frank's house, Frank will have to tell us. And there is the old lighthouse that also sat in the yard, and the gates up behind, out to Baby Walk. As a point of interest, this picture taken on East Walk shows to the right corner of Frank's house, which has been called No Boys in the Attic, and to the left the corner of Harrington Hut. And all along Bayview Walk there, and continuing, and I can recall continuing westward, there was a railing. So whether we had railings all along Bayview Walk or for the whole length or not, I don't know, but it did exist in the West End. Here's that same intersection of Bayview and East Walk, Frank's fence over on the left there, and the railings all along. I'm going to put a few familiar postcards in here, and you just look at them on the bigger screen. This is Surf Walk, as it was back in the 70s, I believe. You notice those little bushes in front of Bangkok are now enormous trees. On Piccadilly, that's Bob Minnell and friend there, and the store and the old post office, and a corner of the old hotel. The Mo cabins along Holly Walk. We'll finish off this section with a shot of the pines from the 60s when the co-ops were the main thing on the beach.